Welcome back to the Power Six Podcast. Here's your host, Isaiah Rose.
All right, guys. Welcome back to another exciting edition of the Power Six Podcast. This week we are coming to you guys a day later, but don't worry, we have the whole crew here. If you're a Michigan fan, congrats on a huge win this past week. With that being said, I'm just going to pass things over to Max. Just keep this thing rolling.
Thank you, Isaiah. Yes. Biggest win probably in Michigan program history right there. Taking down the juggernaut in Nebraska. So props to the Vereen. But usual schedule agenda tonight. So yeah, we're going to get right into that Michigan-Nebraska game, unfortunately. Wolverines win 45-7 in Lincoln. Nebraska is able to get a touchdown on the board, but this game was it was just the all-around probably worst Husker game maybe that I've ever watched. I mean, the offense got into a rhythm, only a couple drives, for it to be botched by, a fourth down conversion that they couldn't get. The defense, didn't like what I saw from the defense. The only positive I can take away from this is that I think Michigan is the best team in the country, and I think they're going to do this to a few more teams on their schedule. So,
yeah, I would agree. I think our team just kind of counted themselves out from the beginning. The defense obviously didn't have their best game. I was really hoping that they were going to be kind of like the difference maker to give Nebraska a shot at keeping it close. We knew the offense was going to struggle, especially. I think it's starting to show that we're down some key players on the offensive side, and even defensively with Reimer being out, and so it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back this week.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch much of this game, but the parts that I did watch, we didn't look very good at all. Michigan was controlled the entire, first half of that game. We didn't get to see much of that second half, but that first half we didn't look good on both sides of the ball. The past 2 weeks defense hasn't looked as good as they did the first 3 weeks. So hopefully, going into Illinois this week, they pick it up a little bit.
This was the first time I have ever been just embarrassed as a Husker fan leaving the stadium. I mean, we just absolutely could not compete whatsoever. And it was one of those games where the first touchdown that Michigan gets, it's a fucking helmet catch. And then our very first drive, very first pass, it was an interception in their own zone. Then they just go ahead and score in like the next 30 seconds. So it was one of those days where, it just was not going to be Nebraska's day at all. It was tough. It was really tough, but Michigan looks really good. And honestly, I don't have anything else on this game. We just got our fannies waxed, and I think we can move on.
Yeah,
Michigan.
Realistically, I don't think Nebraska ever had a shot at that game. If I would have been in town, I don't think I would have went, just because, it would have been cool to see Michigan play well. When we think of Nebraska playing Michigan, we got to think of Nebraska playing, Georgia, Texas, like those teams right now, because that's where Michigan's at. And I agree with Max. I think Michigan is at the top, and so to hold them to 45 points, I will say, is a little bit of a positive.
no, there is no silver linings to this game. There's no silver linings to this game. The only positive was Josh Fleeks ran really fast, and I like to see that, and he took a clean handoff.
Yeah.
That was positive.
They took out their
Moved them up
starters
to the
in the
second
third
string.
quarter. In the third quarter. On top of that, you guys have seen this, and I did not realize this. J.J. McCarthy was making out with his fucking girlfriend on the sideline. How embarrassing is that?
I didn't see that, but I heard about it. I think Headley brought it up.
How embarrassing is that?
Yeah. Not only do they wax our fannies, they be making out with their girlfriends in a victory in the third quarter. It's embarrassing.
That's crazy.
I would agree with Max and Devin that Michigan does look like they are a top-tier team, and they are definitely in a run for the Natty this year. I will say that.
Yeah, no doubt. I think the biggest thing about Michigan is their line play. I said before the preseason, I think it still stands true that scouts are looking at NFL scouts are looking at 7 offensive linemen on that Michigan team, which is ridiculous. Normally you're lucky if you have one or two, but that offensive line for Michigan's ridiculous, and they ran it all over Nebraska. And so the last thing I'll say with this game is Nebraska needs to use this game as kind of fire, realize that it's really embarrassing, and let it motivate you to be better than that, because that was embarrassing. I think that's in the post-game presser and the past other two press conferences so far this week for Matt Rule, or other one. I think maybe he's at two. That's kind of exactly what he said. He said it was embarrassing. On their Sunday practice the day after the game, he said usually it's just a walkthrough and watch film day. He said they were full helmet and pads, full practice, one of the more physical practices they've had yet the day after this game. And Matt Rule sounded different in his press conferences too after the game and this week, which is good because this sucked. And he didn't make any excuses, which I like too, because Scott Frost, for sure, they played Michigan. They got beat like 50-10. And that was Scott Frost's famous rock bottom line, and you better get us now line. He was just defending himself the whole time still. I didn't see any of that at Matt Rule. He said this was embarrassing. And then he told everyone to tune in Friday night. And I love that. And we're going to talk more about that game too as we get into it. So, yeah, we can move on from that. I'm ready to move on from that, and I can't wait to talk about the Illinois game and this upcoming stretch for Nebraska, because it'll be interesting. But next we can get into some other weekend results. Nothing gigantic, I guess. I know Notre Dame pulled one out against Duke. LSU gave up 700 yards to Ole Miss. That was a really entertaining game. Kentucky, they beat Florida big time. I don't know. What do you guys think? Anything really sticking out?
USC, their defense is horrible.
Officially bad. Yeah.
Their defense is absolutely terrible. Almost letting Colorado come back and win that game. I haven't looked at the AP poll where USC is at, but I wouldn't be surprised if they dropped. Max, you can correct me if they did, but they definitely should. Their defense is just not there. And like I've said before, Ole Miss year.
Yeah, USC was preseason 6th. I think they got up to 5 at one point, but they've slowly kind of gone down after that. They're 9th now. They dropped another spot.
Okay.
Because everyone's seeing that defense is, really bad. So, yeah, that's a good point. Texas looked dominant as well. They were 16-point favorites over Kansas, and they destroyed them 40-14. So Texas really is continuing to look like an excellent team. I know there was some in the Big Ten interesting things happened. Penn State and Northwestern were tied at half. Penn State pulled away. Minnesota didn't look great. And then Maryland. Maryland looks really good. They beat Indiana 44-17. Maryland plays Ohio State this Saturday, which I don't know. Maybe that could be interesting. It's a 20-point spread, but who knows? Is that good, though, for reaction? This week was not – it wasn't a crazy week. There were some good games, but –
my only other reaction was the Iowa-Michigan State game. I thought Iowa would blow them out of the water. It kind of got – it doesn't help that McNamara got injured, but it was a nail-biter until the end of that fourth quarter for the Hawks for sure.
Yeah, now out for the season. Cade McNamara.
Oh, yeah.
Connor, what's your
taking a nap in that game?
Connor, what's your reaction to this game, man? What were your thoughts in the first, second, third quarter?
Well, I rewatched it, so there was a lot of drops. Deacon Hill actually didn't look that bad. He had to look pretty good in the pocket, and he was throwing some strikes in there. He honestly he looked kind of better than McNamara. I thought his mechanics, he just needed to get some more reps, but we'll see.
He really looks like Big Ben to me.
He is a bad Roethlisberger.
He actually is faster than McNamara was because he was playing injured the whole season.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, especially wearing the black and gold. Whenever that dude has come into the game so far this year, I've been like, that is Big Ben.
He's a big boy. There'll be some QB sneaks coming up.
Oh, yeah. What I can say about Iowa is Cooper DeJean. Is it DeJean or DeJean?
DeJean, yeah.
Whatever his name is. He's legit. He's really fucking good.
Yeah.
We knew this, but yeah, he had that almost pretty much walk off punt return touchdown was legit. He had a pick too.
That
And,
pick was a good pick too.
yeah.
In the back of the end zone.
nice and easy. I was.
There's people all over Twitter are saying they want him to play offense
Honestly, throw him in the offense.
because he played QB in high school. Like, and he could run like the Wildcat.
I mean, shit. Yeah, I think that would help a lot. Bring a different view for Iowa's
Yeah.
offense.
Also, hasn't helped that our running back 1, 2, tight end 1, and QB 1 are now out.
Yeah,
So this helps Brian Ferentz
I was gonna
suck
say.
even more.
You could kiss Brian Ferentz goodbye.
But the point tracker,
Good
they
bad.
did get the 26 that game.
Yeah, but
By
I'll
average,
update it later. Yeah, it's still down.
Yeah, since the start of last season, Cooper DeJean is Iowa's second leading touchdown scorer, and he does not play offense.
That's
They just not play
crazy.
offense.
That was insane.
That's insane that they didn't just put him, like, have some place for him in the offense at this point.
They just don't want him to get hurt. He's
I mean,
too
that's a
on
good
defense.
that's a good point. You don't want him to get hurt. Isn't this like Iowa's second like amazing white corner they've had in the past like 8
Yeah,
years?
Riley Moss. It's in the
I'd say I
NFL. He's like the only white guy in the NFL, white cornerback.
They know what they're doing with the corners and the tight ends, man.
Yeah, they do. Bill Parker.
Not
knows what he's doing.
how to run an offensive scheme.
Is that good for reaction? Purdue beat up on Illinois. That was kind of interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see that, but that total shocked me. I wanted to say Penn State, they beat up on Northwestern, which is not surprising. But is Minnesota bad if they lost to Northwestern?
That was two weeks ago.
I know, but I'm just saying, like,
Oh,
How-
I mean, yeah, Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota's not that great this year. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
there's a down year for the Flexter.
yeah, that just caught me off guard seeing that.
They were
Penn's-
down to. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna. I thought you were finished. I'm sorry. I was gonna say, and Penn State was tied with Northwestern at half.
Yeah.
So it was rather shocking, actually.
I think
They
Northwestern's
put it on
really.
in the second half, but
I think Northwestern's a little better than everyone thought they were going to be this year. Actually, they beat Minnesota. They were tied at half with Penn State. I know the score ended up not looking good, but I mean, they look like they can hold their own. You know, so.
Yeah, Penn State barely covered too.
Oh yeah, those are spread pick. Quick AP poll reaction. You mentioned Isaiah that USC did drop another spot even after a win, but that defense is sus. Utah dropped a lot. LSU should not be ranked. They're 3-2. Don't know why. They're the only team ranked with 2 losses. That's ridiculous. I'll just say it for you, Isaiah. Louisville enters the ranking behind their in-state rival Kentucky, who's 20th. Louisville's 25th.
Yeah, until Notre Dame comes and just beats the shit
Hey,
out of the Cardinals.
All I have to say is any other 5-0 team is like top 10 right now, and Louisville's not getting any respect.
Maryland's 5-0 and they're not ranked, so they're still right outside.
Hey.
Actually, maybe they're
I
4.
think
Either way.
Maryland's a good team this year too.
Yeah, they are.
They
agree.
should also be ranked.
Yes.
But
So-
I was just surprised that Louisville wasn't ranked sooner.
Isaiah, did you know they were playing on Friday before you got on the flight, or what?
Yeah, Jeff Braun,
Yeah.
Cardinals, baby. Let's go. And it is Jack, not Jake.
Yeah.
We get
Yes.
right into Louisville talk.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Apparently.
In support of Isaiah, I bet on him at the airport. It was
You
the
did?
first thing I did on vacation was throw some money down on Louisville, and they won.
And had he was acting like he was a Louisville fan. It was hilarious.
Just like you act like you're a Louisville fan.
I am a Louisville fan. But Headley's like, oh, our Cardinals, baby. Our Cardinals.
just like you're a
Actually,
Diamondbacks
that was
fan.
pissing me off, dude. Isaiah was like getting offended when I said "we" when referring to Louisville after I bet
He
on
was
them.
he
Like,
was literally gatekeeping his fake favorite.
he was
favorite team.
gatekeeping a team he like doesn't even follow.
That is crazy.
I've watched all their games this year.
No, you have not.
Yes,
Not
I have.
a chance. Not a
Yes, I
shot.
have. Not the
a
whole
shot.
game, but I've watched at least 2 quarters. of
You
each
saw a
game.
highlight,
Watched every game. I watched the first opening kickoff and play.
then saw the
Watch-
final score.
Hey, that's all that matters. Cards up.
All right, I'm ready to move on.
Yeah, we can move on from that. That's good enough from the rankings there. Brian Ferentz points tracker update. He did score 1 above the 25, but I don't know if that did a ton for him.
Well, let me tell you, Max, it did nothing for him, actually.
Oh, that's rough.
It got him up, I think, like 1 point from last week. So he is currently sitting at 22.2.
There were loud fire Brian chants at Kinnick Stadium during that game. Actually, very often. Anytime Iowa went 3 and out, which was a number of times, they rained down. So
Fire,
They might-
Brian.
everyone
So-
might get their wish.
Hypothetical here. Anybody can answer it. Connor, this is mostly towards you, though. Brian Ferentz gets canned. Does Kirk turn in his retirement notice?
I'm
Or
thinking
does he ride?
it's like this year or next year, something soon like that.
Okay. Because my theory is Brian gets canned, Kirk's gone.
Yeah, and we got a new athletic director.
Wasn't there
Yeah,
a,
that one.
a head coach sighting at the game? An old head coach
Pat
sighting?
Fitzgerald was at the Iowa game.
Was he actually?
Yeah.
The fuck?
Yeah. I think it's because
Lady.
his kid is playing high school football, maybe being recruited or something. But good to see Patty Fitz out of the house.
Yeah. Patty Fitz next Iowa OC. Starting the campaign now.
I think we could see Kirk Ferentz retire so Brian doesn't get fired.
Well,
Yeah.
Brian's contract's still his contract. If he doesn't get the 25 points.
I don't think there's anything in his contract that says he's fired, though. Right, Connor?
I think it just says that the contract is
Oh.
terminated. I mean, I guess the
Yeah,
world
maybe.
wouldn't explode, I guess, if Iowa re-signed him to a different contract, but I would be shocked
God, I
if something
hope
like that
so.
happened.
Dude, I hope so.
Dude, I'm pretty sure there will be either 2 Ferentzes at Iowa next year or 0 Ferentzes. I think there's actually a greater chance of 3 Ferentzes than 1 Ferentz.
That's probably true.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Seems like the path we're going down. All right, you fellas ready for Tank and Bank? We're just gonna do we'll go back to how we just do Tank and then we'll do Bank. So I'm gonna start with my Tank. And it's gonna be UCF, the Golden Knights. They played Baylor, and UCF was up 35-7 with 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. And they lost the game 36-35. That's a tank.
My tank this week is USC's defense. Like I said earlier, they almost let Colorado come back and win that game, and there was nothing going there.
So honestly, I did not watch any football this weekend. So my tank is going to be the Tampa Bay Rays, who committed 4 errors in the first 4 innings of the wild card series yesterday, and then got swept by the Rangers.
And had the lowest attendance in MLB playoff history
And
since
had
1990.
an embarrassing stadium for that playoff game. Like when I tuned in, I was like, I'm pretty sure the playoffs are happening right now. It's terrible that they could get no one to turn out for that.
Yeah, it was bad.
My tank is me for falling asleep during most of the Iowa game, except for the last 4 minutes. So that sucked. I was too tired.
My tank is going to be Lincoln Riley's defenses and just how historically fucking bad they are.
My tank's Nebraska. They sucked this weekend.
That's fair. My
That was
bank
amazing.
My bank is the Ole Miss offense. I guess the LSU defense could be a tank. Either way you want to look at it. But I'm going to just go the Ole Miss offense as my bank because they put up 706 yards in a 55-49 win.
My bank this weekend is Headley's lock and dog. He hit both.
Good luck, good dog.
My bank is Isaiah for telling me I hit my lock and dog. I seriously have been so out of the loop with football. Haven't looked at any scores this whole weekend. And last day I've just been recovering from Miami.
Yeah, I don't have a bank. I didn't watch any football either. But we're just gonna say Cooper DeJean. He's Iowa's only good player.
We did have some Power 6 PTO this week. We did not work on Saturday.
My bank, because I didn't have one. I'm going to say Michigan and my future bet.
I'm changing my tank to myself for not putting a lock or a dog in. And then a bank. Yeah, I'm with the rest of the guys. I didn't watch much football. I'm going to give it to Michigan. They played really well.
Devin, so are you saying your lock was fake?
Did I put a lock in?
There was a lock and an underdog in there
For what?
last week.
Yeah, what were they?
You hit your lock.
What was it?
Alabama minus 12.5. Pretty sure Alabama covered.
I don't remember putting a lock or a dog in there.
Your dog was McNeese State. Does that ring a bell?
Oh, yep. I do remember putting that in.
No, he did. Didn't you put that in on Friday?
Yeah, I did. I put it in Friday after the Louisville game. That's why I said
Yeah.
the other guy.
Nice.
Hey,
Very nice.
You're
Does
good.
anybody this
Okay.
week have Texas over as their lock and Wyoming as their dog? Because I think you put it in my little space there. Oh, there's Connor. Get the fuck out of my space, man.
I'm staying away from that
That's
Texas
sabotage.
Oklahoma
That actually
game.
should be minus points.
Now the viewers don't even need to watch me anymore. I can just leave.
All right. I would do a week 6 preview now. I guess we can get into. Do we just want to start with the Husker game, or do we want to go through some other games first? I don't know.
I say start with
Let's
that.
get the Huskers out
Yeah,
of the
let's
way.
just say start on.
Husker game. Okay, sweet. I like that because I got some things to say. Nebraska, Illinois Friday night game. Why not? Illinois favored by 3.5. And Illinois tried to get out of this game by lighting their own stadium on fire, but can't do it. You got to face the juggernaut that is the Cornhuskers. So, too bad for them. I thought this game would be like a pick-em, or if anything, Nebraska would be minus a couple points. I said that still after the Michigan game, and as both Nebraska and Illinois are both getting their asses kicked. But Illini 3.5. I guess they're getting the points because it's home game, short week. So fair enough.
Yeah, I think this is a very winnable game for us this week. Neither team has looked outstanding. Illinois did just put the pound on Purdue, but it's
You mean the
anybody's
other way around.
Purdue.
Purdue pounded Illinois.
Oh, never mind. Like I
Yeah,
said,
you switched
the
up
other-
who did the pounding.
hey, like the other three said, we did not watch much football this last weekend, but it's a very winnable game. The defense needs to play a lot better than they have the last 2 weeks. Short turnaround. I like that they practice hard on Sunday because you have less day to prepare. And I think our offense will be pretty okay. We should be able to produce a lot on the ground this week.
Yeah, this game is honestly very important. I mean,
Huge.
the Michigan game, it's whatever. Everybody knew we were going to lose. We didn't know we were going to lose that bad, but we knew we were going to lose. This is going to be very, very pivotal for moving forward this season because it kind of shows the trajectory of where we're heading for the end of the season. I mean, if we lose to Illinois, I don't see us having a very good finish. I hope we do, but I mean, we got to have it. We got to have it, and our offense needs to get out of our own fucking way. I mean, our defense is doing as much as they can. The last couple of weeks, they've looked a little shaky. You know, a couple more missed tackles than the first 2 weeks. But I think they'll turn around and get back to being stout, as we would say.
We
yeah,
do say stout a lot.
yeah, very, very important game.
Yeah, it's huge, especially because it after this game is the bye week. So it'd be nice to win this game to head into the bye week with some momentum. And then, I mean, this 4-game stretch, you know, the first 2 games on the road of the season, tough. And then you have your group of 5 games, and then Michigan. I don't know, just a little awkward, the whole thing. All that's out of the way. Short week into Illinois. This is when you're getting in the part of the schedule against conference play where you just got to take care of business. There's no excuses anymore. And the next 4 games, again, it's Illinois, Northwestern, Purdue, Michigan State. 3 of those teams have a first-year head coach. Well, 2 of them have head coaches that have been head coaches for a couple months. And then Illinois, which looks like this is a really down year. So it's massive for bowl hopes to get this 4-game stretch off to a good start before you get into the toughest opponents left on your schedule the last 3 games.
Yeah, Max, you're talking about the interim coaches that we'll be playing against.
Yeah.
Northwestern is actually the only team for the rest of the season. The Huskers are the ESPN FPI favors the Huskers to win. So who do you guys think we are going to lose to, Northwestern or Michigan State? Because I think we'll drop one of them.
Probably Northwestern.
I got a feeling we're going to lose to Northwestern this year because we own Michigan State.
We have actually, if there's been any Big Ten opponent that we actually have played well against in the Big Ten, it is Michigan State. I don't know. The Michigan State, though, that game's on the road. Northwestern's at home. I don't know. It could be tough.
This season has turned very grim. There's not a lot of games that we're actually hopeful to win. I mean, every game will be a coin flip from here on out, it seems. Aside from maybe Wisconsin, who really seems like they have a lot more talent than anybody else in the West. But this week is important. I think that under of 42 looks very good.
Yeah, I think this is Nebraska's biggest game of the season so far in terms of where the season will go, like you were saying, Brad. And we'll get to see, you know, what Nebraska's depth looks like, since they're battling so many injuries right now on both sides of the ball. And as Matt Rule said, we'll find out who our guys are and what they're made of on Friday. And so I'm hoping that they're fired up with the short week and that they're ready to go to Illinois and come out with a win.
Yeah, I've liked, and I mentioned this earlier too, but I have liked Matt Rule's mentality a lot after the Michigan game. And particularly when he said he hopes everyone watches Friday night, because we're going to find out what kind of team this is. He was just fiery and pissed off after the Michigan game, which was totally different than Scott Frost after Frost got blown out against Michigan in his first year. So it's really all you can do. I think one thing that Matt Rule has realized too is that I think there's a massive mental barrier on this team that he did not think would be as big as it is. Because he came in and he said, that's all in the past. That's not me. That's not my team. And I think he's starting to realize it more after some discouraging performances, that this team mentally goes out there to not. It's like every player has the same mentality of the fans, which is like, when's the disaster going to happen? And that is probably just the absolute worst thing you can think of as a player. But it seems like they're all thinking that. And it's all just like, can we stay in the game? Not, we're expecting to win this game. Because let's say the Michigan game, if you want to pull off one of those big college football upsets, you got to go in there playing loose and like you expect to compete. And they played like they were going to try to not get blown out. So he's got to get over that, and I think he's going to fix that, work on it this week. And I really just like his mentality after a blowout, saying it, you know, admitting it. It was embarrassing. He seems pissed off, and use it. So. That's about all I got for Nebraska, Illinois, but massive game. You know, it's a winnable game. The next 4 games are winnable games, but all those teams are also saying that about Nebraska. So we'll see who comes out on top. Hopefully the Huskers can go on a little bit of a run, maybe get 3 wins in a row for the first time since 2016.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I do right now. Nebraska and its next 3 or 4 opponents are all sitting at 2 and 3. So
yeah, it's all the next 4, all 2 and 3.
Wow.
Yeah.
3 wins in a row would be a successful season, no matter what. Like if we win 3 in a row, our next 3, and then lose the rest, that's successful, I'd say.
Yeah, that'd give them a 5 and 7.
I know we wouldn't be making a bowl game, but 3 in a row, you know how much fun that would be? After that 3rd win, we would legitimately think if we got another shot at Michigan, we'd beat them.
It would be a lot of fun. It would be a ton of fun. Last year we had the 2 in a row when we beat Indiana and Rutgers, and that was fun enough. You know, that's how crappy.
Yeah, we were through the roof on that. We beat Indiana and Rutgers, and we were like, oh, we're back, and Mickey's the guy.
Last thing I will say too about speaking of Nebraska, I wanted to mention this when we were talking about the Michigan game, but I didn't get a chance to. It was another realization of just how bad this program is. Brad and I were sitting next to a Michigan fan in Memorial Stadium, and it was when they're up probably 14-0, 21-0, something like that. He started to actively clap and cheer for Nebraska first downs and good plays as a Michigan fan. He was the nicest guy ever. Talked to us. We were nice to him. He was actually great guy. And I know he wasn't doing it to be like facetious or anything, but boy, did it feel bad when this guy starts rooting for our success. That was a new low as a Husker fan.
It was pretty bad. And on top of that, he didn't even want to cheer for his own team. I think he cheered more for Nebraska when we had good plays than he did for Michigan.
It started to be the point when we had Michigan in like a 3rd and 8, and Michigan gets the first down. He's like, oh, shoot. Like, oh, my God. It was almost like I did not need that, man. He was
It's kind of like what Dave Portnoy was doing, but he was doing it like seriously. Dave was doing it ironically.
Do we want to talk about JJ McCarthy and his girlfriend? Because that actually, we were at a bar, not watching the game. There were no TVs on at the game. I got my Hulu and my phone out of my pocket, turned on Hulu, and JJ McCarthy is making out with this girl on the sideline, and I just shut it off. That is just during the game. It was like the 3rd quarter. He got benched. He went over, started kissing his girlfriend, and then was like just chopping it up with his teammates.
There was a lot of new lows this weekend.
Yeah, there was
a lot of new lows.
It was.
Never seen that one before.
No. Yeah.
You think Harburg deserved a kiss or 2 on the sideline though? Down 35. I think he should have got a kiss. You know.
Maybe it's like, are you feeling okay?
Yeah, I think he got a text mid-game that his girl was never coming home.
Yeah, maybe that's what Nick Baugh was saying, is that maybe we don't know that was JJ's girlfriend. That could have been Harburg's girlfriend over there. It could be worse.
Oh, that's brutal. That is brutal. All right, let's.
Henrik Harburg?
What about Henrik Harburg?
Were you talking about Harbaugh or Harburg?
Harburg.
That was definitely not Jim Harbaugh's girlfriend.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Harburg's dating Harper Murray.
He is, yeah.
They're way better than Michigan.
I think you must have came in late.
No, I heard you guys. I just didn't. I got confused on the Harbaugh versus Harburg thing.
Okay.
All right, fair enough. Anyway,
also kissing Harburg's girlfriend.
Yeah. God, we need to move on from this one quickly. Okay, Week 6 preview. Biggest standout game, obviously, Oklahoma, Texas, Red River rivalry. This is the first time that these two are facing off undefeated since 2011. So we're kind of getting back into that. The Red River game is a huge, massive showdown, like it should be. College Game Day is going to be there. Going to be an awesome scene. And for Texas, I think it's just stay legit, stay really good. They've looked great. For Oklahoma, you can go out and prove something big because they've dominated their schedule, which has been okay. They could really send a message.
Yeah, Texas, they look pretty dominant this year. Like Max said, Oklahoma's shown out in their games. The only game I've really watched with Oklahoma is when they played Tulane and they just ran right over them as they should. But Texas in that Alabama game, that's still a standout performance for them all season. It will be. And they play like that, they can beat any team in the country, I feel like. So if they come out like that this week, they're gonna give Oklahoma some pounding.
Is there any of these other games that really stand out? I know Alabama and A&M, Saban, Jimbo Fisher is always an absolute classic, fun time. Those two don't like each other anymore. And that's at A&M. Going to be a great atmosphere. Damn, only favored by 2. I'm excited for that one as well. Other than that, you got something on that, is that?
Notre Dame, Louisville. Come on.
Oh,
now.
God. Yeah, here we go.
Come
That's
on.
a ranked matchup.
It is a ranked matchup. I think it's going to be a good game. Notre Dame's only favored by 6.5, but I think Louisville is not going to get destroyed. I don't think they're going to
Notre
win.
Dame's my lock of the week.
Oh, wow. Was that a... No, it's not, Devin.
I might as well be.
I don't think Louisville's going to get blown out. I think it's going to be a good game. Jeff Brom already in year 1 has that offense going pretty damn good. So I think that will be a fun game.
I think before we move on, the LSU Mizzou game, I think that's going to actually be a really sneaky good game. Mizzou looked really good against Kansas State when I watched them, and LSU, they just kind of don't look like they're the typical LSU team. So I think 6.5 is a lot of points, I feel like, for them giving to LSU. So that'd be a good one to watch.
Last thing I want to say, too, before we start to move into the good old predictions, is that Kentucky and Georgia, a little bit of an upset alert. Georgia's not the same Georgia that they've been the last couple years. Kentucky looks good. They just beat up on Florida. So I'd like to see Kentucky make it a game out of that and maybe pull one off. It'd be nice to get Georgia out of that number 1 spot. They're out of their NAIA schedule. So, but yeah, should we just get right into previews? Locks, dogs?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
We'll go ahead and we'll introduce our guest picker this week. He's been on the show before. He's easily my favorite guest picker of all time. You know him. He has a score predictor. It is Uncle Brad Rose. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, I'm glad to be here. The score predictor's not doing so well this year, but no, I'm ready. Let's get on with the show here.
All right, let's do it. I like looking at your score predictions every week. I always check them out on Twitter. So I'm excited to see how they do this week, especially since we got you on the show, Brad. Oh, yeah, quick record update, Brad, actually, too, before we get into the locks and dogs and all that.
I'll go quick. So the pick'ems. So Max went 11-2. Isaiah went 10-3. Headley went 10-3. Matt went 10-3. He was our guest picker last week. Connor went 11-2. I went 9-4. Devin went 8-5. Max and Connor tied for the best that week last week. We only had 2 locks hit. 1 questionable, Devin. 1 questionable. He doesn't even remember putting it in, but he got his lock.
This whole weekend was a blur, man.
I will vouch for Devin. He got it in.
And then Headley hit both his lock and his dog, so he's on the points again. He's making a run at Isaiah. Overall record, we got Max at 51-22, Isaiah at 53-20, Headley at 45-28, Connor at 52-21. I am at 43-30. Devin is at 44-29. Locks, we've got Max has hit 3 locks, 3 and 2. Isaiah's 0-5, still looking for his first one.
8 Isaiah.
Headley is 2-3. Connor's 2-3. I am 1-4. Devin is 3-2, and then the dogs pretty much stay the same. Isaiah's at 2. He's got 10.5 points. Headley's at 2. He's got 9.5. Connor is at 1. He's got 5. And then myself, Devin, and Max are still looking for our dog. So
Hey,
That is
the
the stats.
pick'em records are looking good for the boys this year so far.
Yeah, nobody's in the red yet.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Good. That is
I'm
good.
teetering, but we're gonna get up there.
All right, let's jump right into it. We always start with our locks. And I'm trying to get back on track here after the hot start and a couple rough weeks. But I got Kent State and Ohio, some action under 46 points. Kent State has one of the worst offenses in college football. I think this will be a somewhat slow tempo game. Ohio has a great defense so far, so I really think they could shut out Kent State. So under 46.
My lock this week is Louisville covering 6.5 against the Irish.
Crazy. My lock this week. This is my most confident lock to date, so I would fade it. I have Nebraska, Illinois under 43.5. Nebraska has not scored in every first half they've played against a Power 5 team so far this season. They don't score the ball. Most of their points are in garbage time this year.
Brad, you got a lock?
Yeah. Sorry about that. I got two of them actually. So
Right on.
just so you know, on the score predictor, tonight's game between Jacksonville State and Mississippi or Middle Tennessee State, I have Jacksonville State upsetting them, but I figured I won't pick that. And thank God I didn't, because they're losing 23-7 before halftime. But my first lock of the week, I'm going to take Miami 20.5 over Georgia Tech at home. I feel Miami's the most underrated team in the country. Georgia Tech got beat by Bowling Green last week. They're just not looking good. The other one, back to the Big Ten, I'm going to take Rutgers at 13.5 plus 13.5 at Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin actually wins the game, probably like 28-20, but I'm going to take Rutgers 13.5. And the Miami game, I have that at 45-17 Miami. So those are my two locks.
I like those. For mine, I have Texas versus Oklahoma, the Red River rivalry. I got the over 60.5. I think it's going to be a classic Big 12 football, run up the score.
Headley, I got bad news for you. Nebraska, Illinois under 43.5 was going to be one of my two locks. So I'm going to go with this other one. So I would
I don't
potentially
mind if you go
change.
with it.
I know I would change yours. Me and Max rode last week on our lock, and we both missed. I'm just telling you. But my lock is USC Arizona over 71.5. USC's got a really good offense and a god awful defense, so they could put up 50, and then Arizona can get 28.
Yeah.
So
I would actually like to know the stat on how many USC games have hit the over this year, like what their record with the over under is, because their defense is so damn bad.
it's horrible. I think they're pretty close to hitting every single one, but like maybe one or two. But don't quote me on that.
I would agree about it, Brad. I think any game USC plays in is very high scoring. And you saw it last week with Colorado coming back, that the over was never in doubt. My lock of the week, though, I am going Michigan, Minnesota over 45.5. I just think Michigan is on top of the football world right now. Their offense is clicking on all cylinders, and Minnesota is a bad football team this year. They lost to Northwestern, only put up 13 points against Nebraska in the first week. So I just think Michigan is going to score the majority of those points, and Minnesota will clean it up in garbage time.
All right, nice locks. By the way, to answer your question, only one of USC's 5 games has not hit the over this year. So the over in USC games is 4-1. So looking good. Underdogs this week. There was some kind of bigger ones I was tempted to go with, like that Rutgers plus 13.5. But I'm gonna have to stick with Wazoo plus 3.5 on UCLA. This is a line that, again, Seems kind of tricky, right? Because you'd think Wazoo over UCLA. In fact, I had it in our spreadsheet wrong at first. Isaiah said that. You pointed that out, Brad. So thank you for the correction there. And so I am going to go with that as my dog, Wazoo plus 3.5. Get me on the board, please.
Yeah, just to echo Max here, I have the same dog this week. Wazoo, they played phenomenal all year. I'm surprised they're not favored in this game. I think it was almost a lock for me too that they cover that.
Yeah, I saw Wazoo as well and thought about it, and then I just feel like it's a trick. It just doesn't seem right. So I'm going with Buffalo plus 3.5. Why? Because I'm picking a random 3-point game, hoping it works out for me.
Who's Buffalo playing, Headley?
I don't even know, man. I don't even know. This underdog thing, I did the same thing last week. I just pick a game with a close spread. Put me on the board. Because I feel like if I can take my thoughts out of the equation, I have a better chance of hitting.
All right. My underdog, I'm going to go with a Thursday night game. And I really don't like it, but I have a lot of underdogs on the other games that we'll pick actually later. So I didn't want to pick one of them and then do it again later. So I went with Western Kentucky at Louisiana Tech. Louisiana Tech plus 6.5. I think they win maybe 28-27.
Yeah, I'm kind of with Headley on the dog thing. I don't really know much about this game, but I'm picking Wyoming plus 6.5 against Fresno State. I just don't think Fresno State can take the elevation there. They're going to crumble.
Yeah, I'm going to go with another random game. We've got Nebraska plus 3.5.
That's a good one.
It's funny you say that. I also chose the same random game, Nebraska plus 3.5.
I like it. A pissed off Matt Rule is a good Matt Rule. All right, next let's get into the picks straight up. Saturday games, and we'll end off with the Friday Nebraska game. By the way, tonight with the games that are on, this starts a streak of 49 days straight of NFL or college football. The next 49 days, because we're going to have midweek Fun Belt, midweek Maction, NFL, college football for 49 straight days. Best time of the year. And with that, I wanted to mention that earlier because my trivia question was based off that. So I'm going to do it right now. But it's good because we can all participate in it. So because the celebration of NFL and college football, there's 5 college football teams that share a stadium with NFL teams. Who are those 5 teams?
Miami.
Hurricanes is one of them.
Tampa.
Which college team?
USF.
There you go.
Wow. I hate this question.
Pittsburgh.
Yep, Pittsburgh. Pitt Panthers. Pitt Steelers. There's 2 more. They're the toughest 2. We can go hint whenever we need a hint.
I bet it's an
Give it
ACC
to us.
school, isn't it? We always miss the ACC.
No, so you've gotten the 2 ACC, and then we got USF, which is in the American. There's one more American Athletic Conference team.
Is it Texas
UCF?
school?
No.
Jeez. Yes.
Someone's playing COD.
Shout out Brandon.
So American, AAC, and then that's the one is American, and then the other one's Mountain West. Those are the 2 that are left. One in the Mountain West, one in the American. They're the trickiest ones, but I mean,
What divisions are the NFL teams in?
let's see. One of them is what would that be? NFC North, and the other is AFC West.
Does somebody play in Mile High?
No.
Somebody playing the Raiders?
not.
Is it like Las
Is
Vegas?
it-
UNLV?
UNLV. There you go. There's the Mountain West
Wow.
one.
Allegiant
UNLV
Stadium?
plays at
Crazy.
Allegiant.
It's not Soldier Field, is it?
Somebody play it.
No, NFC North is now early. NFC North and the American Athletic Conference. Last
Is
one.
it Ohio? No.
It's not
NFC North.
Soldier Field, is it?
No.
No.
Somebody
Really?
plays in Green Bay.
Not
No,
Green Bay,
Sometimes-
I would bet the Lions.
I'm
Stadium.
pretty sure it's NFC North. No, it's not the Lions.
The Vikings?
No.
Well, then it's
That's
not the
whole
NFC North.
Oh, NFC. Oh, NFC is it NFC South then? I don't know.
Probably.
It's in
if
Ohio,
in-
so-
New
Right.
Orleans? New Orleans?
Maybe I'm completely wrong. NFC East. It's NFC East. I'm sorry. Definitely
Philadelphia.
NFC East. Yeah, Philadelphia and
Penn.
No, we had this last year. We talked about this.
I don't know this.
I was just saying
Yeah, just say it.
Temple.
Yeah. We talked about that in the pod last year.
You need to brush up on your NFL knowledge.
You started NFC North.
We went through
Yeah, I
almost
misses
all
one
the.
division in the NFL, and suddenly I need to brush up on my NFL knowledge.
I mean, you said two.
Well, then you
divisions.
said the NFC South.
Guy needs to listen to JMB Blitz more.
Oh man. Okay. All right, Devin. Anyway, moving on. Where's my agenda? I don't even have that anymore now.
Wazoo and UCLA.
Yeah, Wazoo and UCLA. Wazoo and UCLA. I got Wazoo.
Wazoo, go Coug, baby. Andy.
It was muted. Who got?
My turn?
Yep.
Yeah. Washington State, Cam Ward, unbelievable year. So yeah, Washington State actually wins this one.
What you got a score prediction for that?
Yeah, 31-30.
Yeah, I'm changing my pick. I'm going UCLA. I'm changing to Vegas. Fade the Power 6.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Wazoo though. They looked really good against Oregon State.
I'm also going Wazoo.
All right, next Purdue, Iowa. Really awesome Big Ten West matchup that I can't wait to watch on Peacock. But I'm going to take Iowa just because the defense is still too good.
Yeah, I'm also going Iowa here just because I think Purdue is terrible.
I'm gonna go Iowa. I got to cheer for them for 2 more games, I think, or 3 more games to hit my regular season. Over on their wins.
Yeah, I'm taking Iowa and Deacon Hill there. Eric All, the tight end, going to tear it up. Defense from Purdue's terrible. 23-17 Iowa.
Yeah, I'm taking Iowa. I'm not very confident, but I still like them.
I'm gonna go Purdue and I'm fading Power 6.
I'm also going Purdue just off the weird hunch that Purdue just gets like some one big win a year. And they looked really good last week.
Next, Georgia, Kentucky. I'm going to be rooting against my pick of Georgia because I want to see Kentucky pull off the upset, but I got to go with Georgia.
I'm also going Georgia here. I'm really surprised by the spread because I don't think Georgia is that good.
I've also got Georgia.
Yep. Georgia in a close one, 28-23, but I'm like Max. I'd rather see Kentucky win.
I've got Georgia too.
I got the Bulldogs.
Go Bulldogs, but really go Kentucky.
Congratulations, Kentucky, on the Power 6 curse.
Hopefully that's a curse. UCF at Kansas next. A sneaky Big 12 matchup. Kansas spreads, I think, down to 1.5 now. I'm going to go with UCF. I think they've been kind of a sneaky good team. They choked that one away against Baylor last week, but that was tough. But otherwise, I think they're going to play a more complete game and win this one.
I'm taking the Jayhawks here. This is for Headley's win. I think they need 7 wins or something. This is for Headley and Greg Kipp.
I also got Kansas.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think both starting quarterbacks, Plumlee and Daniels, are going to be out this week. So the better rushing team wins, or better rushing defense wins, which isn't much, but Kansas is like 72, UCF 93. So I'm going to take Kansas 38-37.
I got UCF.
Going UCF.
I'm also going UCF.
Now the spread pick. This is again not a week with some huge spreads. This is one of the bigger ones. Virginia Tech at FSU. Florida State favored by 23.5. And I'm going to say that they do get the cover. Virginia Tech has had just really bad offense the last couple years.
Yeah, Virginia Tech is playing the worst team in college football. They're not covering.
I had them to cover.
Yeah, my college fantasy football, I just picked up Trey Benson, running back, Florida State. Virginia Tech has one of the worst rushing defenses. So I'm hoping Trey Benson tears it up. I think Florida State covers 41-14.
I got Florida State covering as well.
Yeah, Florida State at home, they're going to cover that.
I don't think they cover. The way they played against Boston College, not risking this one.
Next, an awesome Group of 5 matchup. This game is 7 p.m. prime time on Fox. Fox originally had Iowa State and TCU for this primetime slot. That got flexed all the way down to Fox Sports 2, and Fox picked up Fresno State of Wyoming for their primetime game. I think that is awesome. Fresno State's the best team in the Group of 5. Wyoming is right up there, might be the second best. This one in Laramie, Wyoming, going to be an awesome atmosphere. Love everything about this game. This is what's special about college football. I'm going to take Fresno State, keeping it hot. They got 2 Power 5 wins this year. They've looked really good, so Bulldogs.
Yeah, I'm also going Bulldogs here. They do look really good. Even though they're playing at the highest elevation stadium in the country, they're still going to pull out the win.
I got Wyoming.
Fresno State's underrated, so they're better at everything than Wyoming. So I got Fresno State 24-14.
I got Wyoming at home. I think they're going to pull off the upset. Dog of the week, too. Double down.
Yeah, Fresno State.
Go Bulldogs.
Next, Arkansas and Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss keeps it hot after putting up 700 yards last week against LSU. I don't think it's quite as much this week, but the Rebs get the win at home.
Been saying it. It's Ole Miss's year. They're going to win this game.
Hey, man, I've been on that train the whole year, too. It's Ole Miss's year, probably. I got Ole Miss.
Ole Miss 40-28.
I got Ole Miss, too.
Got the lane train. Ole Miss.
Let's go Rebs.
All aboard the lane train.
Next, LSU at Mizzou. An interesting SEC ranked matchup here, although I don't think LSU should be ranked. But either way, I do have them winning this game because their offense is still great. Defense is suspect, but it's going to be good enough.
Yeah, this is honestly one of the hardest picks for me. I think Mizzou is really good, and LSU has not really proven themselves, but I still think they'll come out on top of this game.
Really making me want to pick Mizzou. Looking at the spreadsheet, I'm gonna take LSU. I think they'll bounce back.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a really close game. I got a question for you guys. Mizzou's first game this year, who did they play? Who did they win against? Because obviously they're undefeated. FCS team, just north of Sioux City.
Oh, Northern or was it? Oh, South Dakota
Yeah.
State,
South Dakota, USD.
South Dakota.
Yeah, they beat them like 35-10. Do you know what USD did last week? Beat North Dakota State at North Dakota State.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big win.
So
That's
I think
insane.
Missouri's pretty good. So I'm going with a 35-35 tie and LSU to pull it off in overtime.
That'd be an awesome game.
Yeah, I got LSU. I thought about picking Mizzou as my underdog, but I decided not to. Thought it's a trick. So
Yeah, I got an LSU in a close one.
I'd agree. I think it's going to be close, but I'm rolling with oh man, you almost can't even say Tigers. I got LSU though.
Next, Notre Dame at Louisville. Isaiah, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to go with the Fighting Irish here. I think Sam Hartman still is really good, estimated really good, and they get the job done.
Shout out to all the Louis fan faithful, but I have to go to the Irish here. You know, I think it's going to be a close game, but I think the Irish are just a little bit better of a team. But Louisville's going to cover.
good hedge.
Some fan you are.
Hey, this is business.
I'm going to go with Notre Dame as well because Louisville is terrible.
Yeah, I like Louisville. I'm not picking them though. I mean, Jamari Thrash, great wide receiver, and Jack Plummer is his name, by the way, not Jake. Jack Plummer. Because I do watch the show even when I'm not on it. But Hartman's 14 touchdown passes, 0 interceptions. Too good. Notre Dame 23-16.
I got the Irish as well.
Yeah, I got Notre Dame, and they're going to cover.
Louis was a bad football team who hasn't played anybody good. They're going to get beat by a lot. Go Irish.
Yeah, I will, as I apparently need to do with my NFL football, brush up on my college football as well. Thank you for the correction on Jack
Plummer.
Plummer, yes. It's a good thing, too. I think hopefully after this podcast, Devin and I can get on a call and he can teach me the rules of NFL football. I would appreciate that very much.
That was Isaiah, man.
I made the JV Blitz comment, but Devin made the rest.
Next, Alabama at Texas A&M. I'm actually going to go Texas A&M because it's at Kyle Field. I think Bobby Petrino has come in and helped that offense a lot as offensive coordinator. That offense is night and day, actually, this year to last year. And I think Jimbo wants to win this game more than he wants to win a national championship. So give me the Aggies.
Yeah, I'll echo everything Max says. These guys hate each other. I'm taking the Aggies here, too. 12th man's going to play a huge factor, and Alabama's going to be rattled.
Hey, do you guys remember what happened last time you picked against Nick Saban? You're buffoons. That's just ridiculous. Alabama's winning 100%.
Yeah, I have very few rules in picking college football winners. The only one real rule I have is never pick against Nick Saban. So you're right, Jacob. But I'm going with A&M, 21-20.
What the hell?
Hey, Hadley,
That was like a
Hadley,
Lee
you picked
Corso
against Saban.
headgear switch fake out right there.
Dude, Hadley picked against Saban this year.
Hadley
I don't know what the
stormed
fuck
off.
he's talking about.
I picked against Saban 1 week, and I only make that mistake once.
You've still done it.
Fool me once, man.
Wait, you picked Texas, I thought.
He did.
Yeah.
I picked Texas. That
Yeah,
was the
you
only
won.
time.
Yeah, you won. Won some schmeckles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
but I'm
still
with
was a
Hadley.
fool.
I got Bama. Nick Saban ain't losing this game. They're too good.
Yeah, I got Bama too. It was earlier in the day. It was 2.5, and I just checked, and it's 1.5 now. Vegas knows something, but give me Bama by 3.
This is the Aggies Super Bowl. Give me Texas A&M.
Now to another team in Texas. Another team that really could argue they're the best team in college football. This is going to be an awesome Red River rivalry, 11 a.m. game on ABC. It's college game day. Can't wait to watch this. To me, it's as simple as Oklahoma is a little too unproven. Texas looked surprisingly somewhat dominant against Alabama. They looked dominant against Kansas. I think they are a legit contender this year, so I got the Longhorns.
I'm also going Texas here. I think they are a better team. I think it's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a high-scoring game, but Texas is going to pull away at the end of the day.
I've got Texas as well. I don't think it'll be as big of a difference as last year's Red River rivalry, but I do think Texas wins.
Nice skip, man.
You didn't skip anything.
What did you say, Isaiah?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Uncle Brad didn't get his picking.
Headley's third.
Uncle Brad's
I've
been
been
after
going
him.
before.
Oh.
I'm after him.
Hey, I'm tired, man. All right.
Yeah,
We've
Brad's
been
got
through like
it.
8
Brad's got it.
games.
It's all good. Kendall Flowers, Jonathan Brooks, good offense, Texas. But Dylan Gabriel, 15 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions, plus 4 rushing touchdowns. And he has thrown a touchdown to 8 different receivers this year. He's at almost 1,600 passing yards. I'm going with Oklahoma, 31-28.
I'm going with Texas in a high scoring game.
The Oklahoma pick threw Connor off.
Yeah, it threw me off.
I'm gonna go Texas, but I really hope Oklahoma wins because I don't really want to see Texas in the playoff.
You know, as a devoted Texas fan, you guys already know my pick. No, in all reality, I think this is going to be the best offense Oklahoma has faced. They haven't really played a high caliber offense yet, and so a lot of their scores look kind of one-sided, which they are. Oklahoma's got a really good offense. I just think Texas' defense is going to be the difference maker in this game.
Yeah, like that. I think Texas, their line play this year has been pretty exceptional. I hope it's a great game, though. Brad, I like you breaking the trend on that one because, I think it's going to be a close game. So someone had to pick Oklahoma. Now, last but not least, Friday night game. Everyone in Nebraska and Illinois, including the stadium itself, is fired up for this game. Headley, I saw your prediction down there, and I was going to make it I was going to go like 15-12 or something stupid, but I'm going to go Nebraska gets the huge win. Ignore the first 5 games of the season. Put it past you. It's in the meat of the Big Ten schedule. 17-13. Huskers come out with a huge dub to go into the bye week with some momentum.
Like I said earlier, this podcast is business, and as business is, Nebraska wins this game. They get the job done. I'm very surprised by the spread here. I think the Skurs are the better team here. I got 24-21 Skurs.
I also think Nebraska's going to win. They got to. Matt Rule is fired up. And Max, I did write the score. I have Nebraska winning 11-8. And I wrote that score down originally as a joke. And then I thought about it. Like, what would I think is more likely, 11-8 or 30-35 or 28-24? I don't think the game is going to get. I don't think Nebraska's going to get in the end zone very many times.
Well, I'm not sure what you guys talked about earlier, but there's just a couple of things I wanted to mention. Nebraska's 13th in rushing offense, where Illinois is 109th in rushing defense. Nebraska just has to keep Illinois out of the red zone. Both teams are terrible, like 122nd in turnovers. I know Reggie Love, the running back, I think he's coming back this week, and he averages like 5.5 yards a carry, so that's kind of big for Illinois. But the one stat that stands out to me is Illinois is 0-5 this year against the spread. So because of that, I'm taking Nebraska 20-17.
Well, I'm going Illinois here. Sorry, boys. I've picked every Nebraska game right so far this year, so bummer.
It's kind of impressive.
So have I.
I just don't think Nebraska gets out of their own way. Our offense still tends to struggle. And then Illinois just squeaks it out. But we do cover because great teams cover. So 17-14, Illinois.
Good hedge, Brad. I'm doubling down. I'm going with Nebraska. I think they find their rhythm on offense finally. You know, they're pissed off. They were embarrassed last week. I think they put some points on the board and we win 24-14.
Good picks.
I would love 24 points so much.
That'd be fun. I mean, Illinois' defense has been one of the worst in the country. I think they're in the 100s in most defensive statistics. So if there was a game for the Nebraska offense to do something, this could be it.
Didn't they just graduate like 6 guys to the NFL on defense?
Yeah,
They had like 3 corners.
They had 3 DBs get drafted, and then 1 other player at least, maybe 2. I can't remember what positions. And then they lost their defensive coordinator, Ryan Walters. So,
Heine's going to dice them up then.
Heine Harburg.
Heineken.
All right. I think that'll do it for us this week. Great pod. Brad, we really always enjoy having you on. Your score prediction, like I said, I enjoy looking at that every week. And I'm hoping it gets
thanks
you
for
a really
coming
good
on.
record
Thank you,
this
Brad.
week.
Yeah. I'm glad you guys invited me on. Glad to be here. I'm off work for like 6 more weeks. I had knee replacement surgery, so I got a lot of time to spend. I'm trying to improve on that score predictor. So that was fun. Thank you.
Nice. Awesome.
Well, we wish
All
you a
right.
speedy recovery.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we'll go ahead and end this thing off. Huge shout out to my Uncle Brad for joining the show. Like Devin said, hope you have a speedy recovery these next 6 weeks. Always enjoy seeing how your score predictor does. It's always a great aspect to throw in on the pod when you're here. May you have good luck in the picks this week. There's a tough week after Matt last week to get in that top 3, but you got it. Quick turnaround this week for the episode. Sorry, we're getting it out a day late here. And Nebraska on Friday going into the wrong Memorial Stadium, but we're still going to get that dub. As always, have a fun and safe weekend and go Big Red, baby.
Go Hawks.